Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. My sincerest thank yous for tuning in once again to Six in the City, my favorite show.
Favorite show on Cogeco. Anyway, on Cogeco Community TV6. Is that the way we're...
In Kokomo? How do you want to say that?
There's some other good shows on here.
Such as?
Well, I've been involved in a few other ones, so Sting broadcasts and things that were good.
Yeah.
Guests on a couple of shows that were good.
You know what? If I could get you to quit blowing your own horn.
Sorry.
And just be a team player for once.
If you can do it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for nothing, buddy. Hey, right now, before we go any further, I'm just going to have to say thank you to Zares. That's that big store, and it's getting even bigger, and they got stuff in it. It's a great place, and they give us food, man, like you would not believe.
And the crew eats it like you would not believe.
The crew makes out like bandits. Dave and I haven't eaten since yesterday, but when we get in here, the food's polished. Like, it is gone.
Not even crumbs. I think somebody named Mark, I think is...
You think Mark does that just to poke us in the eye? Yeah, well, he's out of here after this show. And I also want to thank the Brick. They've given us this furniture, including the fish. I think the fish came from the Brick.
Fish?
That's a brick fish, definitely. And we got to thank Fabricland because they're working on the curtains. They're doing that curtain thing. You know what? I think we're going to get a web designer to do a website for Six in the City.
Cool.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. That's just a little, what do you call that? Foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing, yeah.
That's some foreshadowing coming up. Okay. And we also have some really great guests. That's all we have on our show is really great guests. We've got Rich Prudhomme, who's a color commentator for the Sarnia Blast.
On CHOK.
On CHOK, 1070 CHOK. And we've got Aidan Fitzgerald, movie magnet.
Movie buff. I don't know what to make. I don't know what noun to use, but movie buff. I guess that's good enough.
Movie guy.
Yeah, he's a former co-op student at Sarnia This Week.
Sarnia This Week.
A wonderful publication, and he knows more about movies than anyone I've ever known in my life.
And why do you think that is?
Because he does nothing but attend movies and watch movies all his life. That's basically it. So.
He lives the life we all wish we could live.
Yes, he does. There's nothing more that I can add to that. You're right.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to cut this silly banter down, and I'm going to say if you have any comments to make about the show, if they're negative, keep them to yourself. But if they're positive and they could actually mean that we get money for this show, call it 332-TALK, which is 332-8255, and let us know what you think. And if you have any stupid human tricks you'd like to do on our show, there's a good chance we'll let you do them. Give us a call at that number and tell us what you got. Other than that, I think we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come right back with Rich Prudhomme. So stick with us. Six in the City.
Losses to the Blast. There's Mills, a shot, and there's a first shot of the game, and Talbot comes up with the save. Bernard back. Bernard's due for a goal. He might not miss penalty shot.
Okay.
Cutting right in, and that just missed. Now Bernard again. Kenny Bernard cutting in a shot. Bernard! Kenny Bernard!
Well, Kenny Bernard had the puck on a string as he waved all the way through Elmira's zone, circled the net twice.
Well, thank you for that round of applause. That was just a crazy hockey game that we just watched. What was up with that, Rich?
What we just saw there was the first goal of game number 7 between Elmira and Sarnia in the Sutherland Cup Finals, and it turned out to be, it was Kenny Bernard had missed a penalty shot the previous game, redeemed himself, came out flying, and gave him a 1-0 lead, and got the crowd right into it right away as well.
Excellent. And where was that game?
In Sarnia.
Right in Sarnia. And I thought they beat Chatham. I thought that was the big kicker.
Yeah, they beat Chatham for the league championship series,
league.
and that was another 7-game series. And I'll tell you, if there was a series limit, I think Sarnia went to it just about every time.
That's excellent. Sort of like the Maple Leafs.
A little bit.
Excellent.
We have to talk about them.
Hey, buddy.
This is our show, man.
This is our show, all right? So, okay, straighten me out here, because I'm not the sports aficionado that others on this show are, whose initials are Dave Paul. At one time, there was a team called the Steeple Jacks, right?
In Junior C there was, and then actually what happened was...
What's a steeplejack?
What is it?
Yeah.
It's,
like, I know what a steeplechase is. It's a little
well,
game.
Steeplejack Services was the main sponsor.
What's the name?
You're right.
Okay.
And I'm not sure what kind of business they're in, erecting and scaffolding and stuff like that. So they were the sponsor, and they took that name when they left the Ranson Bees, which was actually the first year that I broadcast Junior B hockey along with Rick Burrows. And then they became Steeplejack, then Steeplejack Bees, and then finally the Blast.
And they have done a bang-up job, haven't they?
Well, they certainly have. They gave the city something to talk about.
And we're still talking about it a month later.
Well, we certainly are. I mean, 29 years was the last time that a Junior B hockey team in this city went this far to win an All-Ontario title. So,
Rich, maybe you can take us through the season, and maybe is there a time when you actually kind of thought to yourself, you know what, this team can go all the way?
Well, it was a pretty good team right from the start. I mean, they kept up with the Leamingtons and the Chathams and the Petrolias, but there was a home-and-home series around Christmas time with Chatham. There was a game here, and then there was a game in Chatham. Both games went into overtime. Sarnia won one of the games, Chatham won the other game, and sitting in the press box doing one of the games, and one of the gentlemen from Chatham said, "Here's your two teams in the finals." And then later on in that season, maybe with 2 or 3 weeks left, Sarnia went into Chatham and won 9-2, and I thought, this looks good. I'm thinking good things now, right after that win.
And then in the playoffs, of course, they were down a couple of times. But
they were. The first series, they beat London in 5 games. The second series, they were down 3-1 to Leamington. And they won the last 3 games. The last one they won on St. Patrick's Day. I do remember that. And they were down 3-2 to Chatham and came back and won the final 2 games of that series, including Game 7 in Chatham, 3-2. And then, of course, the Sutherland Cup went 7 games as well. And they had a 2-0 and a 3-1 lead. Elmira came back, won a couple games, but it wasn't easy. But the fact is that everybody played. You know that. You saw a lot of the games as well. And the Sarnia coach, Lynn Press, he played everybody. And I think that was one of the big reasons that they were able to go so far, is because they had the stamina as well.
Exactly. Yep. So you don't wear out your team as much when everyone's playing. Everyone gets
That's
rest
right.
too.
I mean, there may have been more talented lines or a lot of players, but overall, I mean, whatever line came on the ice, you felt like anybody could do the job, and that's exactly what they did, from the goaltending on out too.
Wouldn't it be interesting to have a Canadian Junior B title? We have that in Major Junior A. We even have it in senior hockey. Wouldn't it be interesting if you and Rick could have got a trip out to Vancouver or something out of the deal too, if you played a national Junior B championship? Well,
yeah, actually, that would be something. I mean, I really can't. This year seemed, it's still fresh, and it still hasn't sunk in yet. As far as a Canadian, yeah, that would be great. I mean, you get a chance to see even more teams, because there is some good hockey out east. There is some good hockey out west as well. Take the Memorial Cup, for example.
Yeah, exactly. So. Yeah. I just wonder, obviously it's something that hasn't ever caught on, but I just think it'd be an interesting thing to think about, maybe.
It certainly would. I don't know about the budget for that, but
well,
I'm sure it could be arranged, yeah.
It's for the budget.
Yeah.
Now, would you say that was a high point of your career so far?
Oh, definitely. When Rick and I started out about 8 or 9 years ago, as I mentioned before, that was the last year that they were called Ranson Bees, and then they moved from Sarnia Arena over to Clearwater. There was a few lean years, And the past couple years have been really good, and it just seems that each year they've taken it another step. And you think the word destiny came up so much this season, and I'll tell you, it was very fascinating. It was very good hockey to watch, and as far as my broadcasting career, yeah, it was a pinnacle.
Wow. Yeah, they definitely had moxie.
They did.
Excellent. Now, we had the team on here. Did you see the show? We had the team on here with not the Sutherland Cup,
yeah,
but some other cup.
The Western Junior B Cup. We had 4 of them on here. They were. We just had them kind of a brief appearance. A little humorous note. John said, "Where's my cup?" and they brought in the.
Yeah, and the kids are pretty good. I mean, all year long, you talk with them, and they're very cooperative, and it's something I'd like to thank them as well too. You go down before the game, and it may be tough sometimes because they lost a game, and you really don't know what to ask them, or you really don't really want to talk to them because they get in their little modes and their zones. So.
Well, especially when they're down 3-1. I mean, that's a pretty big challenge.
Well, once they'd made it that far, they were probably willing to talk a little bit because you're into the playoffs and that kind of thing. So it's. But I wanted to ask you before we have to go. You're a bit of an insider. How's the team look for next year? Do we have any idea how many are coming back? That type of thing.
It's still up in the air. I mean, there's 5 or 6 players that are gone because of a combination of age and scholarships.
And some key players, of course.
The Abbotts are gone.
Yeah.
Right.
Chris and Cam, yes, they're going to Cornell.
Yeah.
Can you tell them apart?
I could because I can't now because now they both got the same haircuts. But in the playoffs, one grew his hair longer.
That's
it was
right.
Cam. He grew his hair longer, and that was easy. But I couldn't for the longest time, and I'm like, you look for facial features or something, and you just couldn't do it. But
and Michael Fleming, of course.
Michael Fleming, Tom Briggs, they're going to Fredonia. Nick Molina is done as well. But there still
Scott
should.
Talbot won't be back, right? That's
Scott Talbot actually could be back.
Is that right?
He could still come back. You're probably looking at 12 to 14.
So that's a significant turnover. So it's going to be up to Doug Cayley to see if he can build it all over again.
That's right, and the job hasn't ceased for him. It just got busier because of the length of the season. So he's he's getting calls as we speak.
Well, maybe on the good side, if the lineups were so even. 30 seconds on, and then you're done your shift. If the lineups are so even, if they lose some people, maybe it's going to be easier to replace them.
And probably too, and that's the way that Len Press likes to coach the team too. Develop the players, give everybody equal opportunity out there, give them ice time, and it gives them confidence as well.
That's right.
When you could make a mistake, but you're still going to be back on the ice next shift.
Excellent. Rich, I want to thank you for coming out and talking about the blast the way you did.
Thanks. It was my pleasure.
Yeah, that was excellent. And you know what? I hope those boys go all the way next year as well.
I hope you have me on again, and we can talk about the Wings.
That's not going to happen. I'll tell you that. Unless it's going to be after the Stanley Cup, and we talk about how it's good to be a sore loser.
You're entitled to your own opinion, even if it is wrong.
Thanks, Rich. I appreciate that, being the host. Right now, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to be back with Six in the City in just a few moments.
He tried to get it. There's a pass in front, and Talbot hangs on. 1:03 to go.
Loose puck out in front of the net. And that was almost dangerous for Scott Talbot as that puck was bouncing around.
Minute 3 to go in the third period.
And this is what we love to see. Machen, Hogg, Moore.
And now Machen out there. Moore, the goalie, is out at the other end of the rink. Now Nielsen, Bernard, Anderson. There's a quick shot. And they're trying to get it out. They can't. Oh, that's around the other way. Anderson now trying to get it. Last minute to go. Down the ice it goes. No, Walton intercepts the pass. Nielsen peeling in. And there's a shot, and Talbot hangs on again with 45 seconds left.
Well, this one's going to come down to the wire.
.5 seconds left. Scott Talbot played so well in this game so far.
This place is alive here at the Sarnia Arena.
Now Nielsen in this face-off. Machen in there as well. We're down to less than 45 seconds left.
What an exciting show that's been. We had to circle boot a Red Wings fan just a couple minutes ago, so that's why we had to take a station break. But I lost it. Did you see me lose it?
I saw you lose it, and I held it together, and I'd like credit for that, for holding the show together at that juncture.
I think it's more exciting that I lost it than you held it together. And I think you should thank me for not trying to make you lose it.
Oh, you were.
I was not. Hey, you know what? We're ignoring Aiden. I'm okay with that. Anyways, yeah, I lost it, and that was Rich's fault. So he'll never be on our show again. Aiden Fitzgerald, is that French?
No, that's actually really Irish.
Oh, Irish. Okay. Same thing.
Kind of.
Aiden, you're going to be our resident movie critic. What title do you want?
Resident movie critic.
Okay.
That's taken. Oh, no, that was you. No, that's right.
Resident
okay.
movie critic.
Because I was going
so
to beat up the other guy, so I'm glad I don't have to. I don't know.
So you have to live here. Okay.
And what a time to have Aiden on. Summer blockbuster season, and we know what we like.
We know what we like. Have you seen Spider-Man?
Yes, I have seen Spider-Man.
I know. That's why you're on the show, actually. It's just for the kids in TV land. Okay, should we get right into it, or should we kind of warm up to it? Like,
well, you know, Aiden's pretty young. He doesn't have much of a resume, really. I don't think there's really any reason to go over his life to this point. Let's just get right into the Spider-Man.
Okay, let's jump. We're going to jump right in to the web slinger himself. How did you feel about Spider-Man?
I actually really, really, really liked it. And I'm usually wary about seeing comic book to movie adaptations.
Such
as the last two Batman movies.
Terrible jump.
Chris O'Donnell, anything Chris O'Donnell's in my opinion.
Well, Joe, what about Clooney? I mean, it's just a vehicle for him. That to me is one of the keys to this whole Spider-Man thing. They didn't go after a big name, and I heard Leonardo DiCaprio was rumored, and that would have been so wrong. Because then it would have just been trying to get the star and making it a vehicle for him. Instead, they went after a guy that made people go, huh?
Yeah.
But he worked beautifully.
And you know what? I think we're lucky that it wasn't Ben Affleck, or Aiden wouldn't even be on the show.
I would not.
Ben Affleck is on the Daredevil one, though. And be very wary of seeing that one, my friend Aiden, because that's not going to be good.
So what did you like about Spider-Man specifically?
Well, actually, as Dave said, I really like Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man. And it was funny, because he's usually the one that, Spider-Man should be saving. So,
but I think Peter Parker was that guy, right?
So I thought he was great, and just all his little characteristics were there. I saw him as still the kid from Pleasantville. It could kind of be a messed up sequel to Pleasantville, where
I don't think Tobey Maguire's necessarily acting when he's a dork in these movies.
No,
because I saw him on Letterman a while back. Letterman's another show that runs opposite ours. Don't worry about it.
It's fluff.
It's and you know what? He was really dorky. And I thought, this guy is like this all the time, on screen, off screen, but it works in this role. It works well.
Did you ever read the comic?
I read a few.
How old are you?
I'm 18.
What, so you were born in what, 91?
80. Yes, back in the day.
You were born what year were you born in?
83.
83.
So I read some of the more recent ones.
I was in grade 11, and you were just popping out.
I was wiggling.
You were a wiggler.
But you know what? Now you're gonna get me. This is good because Aiden comes at this movie from a movie background, and we come at it from a comic book background, and we all liked it, and that's important, and that's what makes this movie unique.
And that's actually what fits, because how many kids, honestly, they know the roots of Spider-Man, but have read the first issues.
Sure.
So they actually get to see how he became Spider-Man and how it all happens. I thought that was really cool. That really gave him the opportunity.
There's some other movie, Attack of the Clowns or something.
What is it?
Star Wars Attack of the...
Oh, I've heard of this thing, which you call Star Wars.
Have you seen this one?
No, I haven't yet.
And why is that?
Why is
usually first one in line, right?
I actually promised my girlfriend we'd see it together.
Oh, okay.
What's your girlfriend's name?
Maggie.
You want to say hi to her?
Hello, Maggie.
what are you thinking?
Oh, that was romantic. I doff my eyebrow to you. Like, what the heck? You romantic fool, you.
I'll see you later.
What are you thinking about the whole Star Wars thing?
I miss the classics. I do. I'm wary going into it. I'm still gonna like the Star Wars spirit, but in an age where blockbusters, most of them, as we noticed with Spider-Man, it was good, but as most blockbusters leave a lot lacking, Ben Affleck's not in it. That's good. I didn't even know you could, be a blockbuster without Ben Affleck in it anymore. But I don't know. I'm a little wary seeing it.
See, Ben Affleck will likely be in the next one because that, to me, is what they're doing. They're really, like we said a few minutes ago, they're kind of vehicles for stars.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's the right approach or not. But
yeah. Personally, I didn't like Episode 1. I thought it was more like a TV show or a made-for-TV movie than it was. I think the first three, which are actually 4, 5, and 6.
And which were made before Aiden was born.
Which were made before you were born, back in the day. Those you could watch each movie by itself and think that was a good movie. Episode 1, you watch it and think, it's not complete. There's got to be something. But let's focus on Spider-Man for a minute. I would just like to say that in the comic book, Mary Jane Watson always wore underclothes. Okay, there was never a time when she went braless anywhere. Okay, especially in the rain. That's all I want to say. She was a good, wholesome, flirtatious girl.
You noticed that, did you?
Well, I did.
Aiden, to change the topic, before we get censored, what else have you been watching lately? At the theater or on video?
At the theater. I saw Deuce is Wild, which I don't know if you've heard of that.
You got us both?
50s greaser movie from the director of the Basketball
Give us quick
Diaries.
thumbs up, thumbs down. Give us some...
if it was a spoof, thumbs up, 4 stars. Like, they delivered classic lines, like they had the Vipers and the Deuces, and they were across the street, him from a girl, one of the,
What do you mean
Deuces.
if it was a spoof?
If it was a spoof, it would be 4 stars.
But it was supposed to be serious.
It was supposed to be serious.
So thumbs down.
And I was cracking up. Maybe
laughed at
half
it.
a star.
Okay.
But, and the girl said, why don't you come over here? And they're across the street, and he said, that's Viper's territory. It's a difference of like 4 feet. It's like,
okay, what else?
On Video From Hell with Johnny Depp, which was actually another comic book to screen adaptation about Jack the Ripper.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know he had his own comic book.
I guess I'm gonna get slack from the comic book fiends, as I've called them, and just not calling it a graphic novel because it's about 600 pages. But the dialogue's still in bubbles and pages separated into squares.
From Hell, thumbs up?
Thumbs up, I liked
That's
it.
kind of appropriate, From Hell, I don't know. But that's, so that was a good one?
That was a good one, yes.
What else?
Have you seen Behind Enemy Lines?
No, I haven't.
Oh.
Okay.
Was it good? Tell us, John.
I'm afraid to now. Go on with what you've got. Hey, you know what? Before you do, why don't we do a little movie trivia? Do you want to do that later, or you want to do that now?
I think we'll come back with that.
We'll come back after the break with movie trivia. We got 3 minutes. You can keep talking
babbling.
as you are. Keep babbling. Okay. Because you know what's coming up is K19 or K19 or was that Harrison Ford's in that? And some other guy. You're staring at me blankly like you've never heard of that.
He's making that up.
No, it's a Russian nuclear sub. It's a true story.
No, that's I thought. What's the one with the Beyond All Fears or something?
Some of All Fears.
Some of All Fears.
Ben Affleck playing the Harrison Ford role.
Well, why did you say that? Because now he's all
Affleck.
upset about Ben Affleck again. No, Harrison Ford and some other guy in K19 or K19 or.
You got us, man.
Yeah.
And there's a new Disney movie coming out. You guys suck. I'm not having a show either, Mark.
Well, tell us some more, Aiden, because anytime I don't see you enough, and when you used to be at Sarnia this week.
Why don't you tell us what you want to talk about, Aiden? Frenchie.
Let's talk about that, John. Can you please? No, I haven't seen much really. Ghost World. Let's talk about comic books going to movies.
Okay.
Because Ghost World is another comic book that went to a movie, and that was actually a very good movie. Thora Birch, the daughter from American Beauty, played kind of the same role, and Steve Buscemi, who I know right away you go.
A little bit iffy on the Buscemi.
No, I like Steve Buscemi.
Yeah,
Well, he plays a hapless loser in it, who befriends.
He plays himself.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was watching.
I don't think he's hapless though. I think he's a hapbold loser.
Happled. We'll look it up later.
Okay. So that's a good one.
That was a good one, yes.
Okay, I need more, man. Because you got I base all of the videos I rent on your.
What about 13
recommendations.
Ghosts?
What about not?
Have you seen it? Have you not seen it?
I stay away from anything that Matthew Lillard's in.
Matthew Lillard?
From Scream, the crazy guy. He's playing Shaggy in the new Scooby-Doo.
Oh, that guy.
oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? You've touched on a topic that I'd like to address briefly. If there's anybody out there from the original Hanna-Barbera creators of Scooby-Doo, do everything you can. Please block the release of this movie. That looks really bad. What do you think?
I think it looks bad. And if you can't block the release of the movie, please just block Freddie Prinze Jr. from getting onto the set.
How did that ever happen? How did that ever happen? Freddie Prinze Jr. as Fred.
You know what? That's not the real dog.
What do you mean that's not the real dog?
That's a computer-generated
You're
dog.
kidding me.
No,
Thanks, John.
I'm being honest here. That was created by a computer. They have computers, and they actually draw the picture. Like, they'll film it, and people will be saying, like, "Hey, Scooby, how are you?" And there's no Scooby there, right? And then later on, when they're watching it, suddenly there's a Scooby there. It's all done by a computer.
You have totally shone light on an area that I had no clue about.
Well, if you look at the dog, it's
that's
totally not a real dog.
Yeah, now that you mention it, yeah, I think you're right.
The talking? Never knew. Thought he's got talent. Right on.
I don't know. You know what? We're going to take a real quick break, and then we're going to come back with some excellent movie trivia. Stay tuned to Six in the City.
I want to talk to you about bullying. You see, there are bullies.
Oh, you're in a lot of trouble, I can tell you that.
And there are victims.
Oh, I didn't do anything. Oh, boy.
And there are usually a whole lot of kids who just stand around and watch, and they don't know how to do anything about it.
Maybe we should get involved.
So you see, it's pretty serious business. So maybe we could...
Talk about it?
Bullying is everybody's business. Let's talk about it.
Hi, I'm Otis Key from the world-famous Harlem Globetrotters. And you're watching Kojiko TV6.
We're on. We're back. You know what? We have just a few minutes left, and we're going to test Aiden's ferocious movie appetite. I'm going to give you the movie, see who comes up with it first, okay? The year, 1995. Cast, Antonio Banderas. Steve Buscemi.
Desperado.
Oh, you are the man. I noticed that.
I was trying to think of Mambo Kings, but Steve Buscemi wasn't in that one.
Okay, 1980. Directed by James Bridges. Cast, John Travolta, Deborah Winger, Scott Glenn.
Urban Cowboy.
Urban Cowboy. Okay.
1-1.
All right. It's 1-1. Okay, here we go. This is going to be a tough one. All right, let me just find one here. Here we go. 1988. Directed by Don Bluth. All right. This terrific animated feature from director Don Bluth follows the journey of 5 young dinosaurs as they struggle to reach
The Land
Great
Before
Valley.
Time?
The Land Before Time. Which one?
The first one.
Okay, you're right. Okay. Are you guys up for like another challenge?
I think if we've got time, I'd
We
like
got
to try
time?
and redeem myself.
We got time. Oh yeah. Okay, 1980. Cast: Burt Reynolds, Jerry Reed, Pat McCormick, Paul Williams, Mike Henry, Jackie Gleason.
The Best Little Whorehouse? No.
No, it's the...
No.
Yeah, Smokey and the Bandit. Smokey and the Bandit Part 2.
Smokey and the Bandit Part 2. You're
All
right.
right.
Dave's the big winner. Hey, you know what?
We tied.
Thanks for watching Six in the City. Thanks for coming out with us. Aiden, thanks a lot for being a part of this show. We appreciate it. And,
we will have Aiden back, unlike Rich Prudhomme.
Exactly.
Next time there's a big feature movie out, we got to get your opinion on it.
Aiden's definitely going to be back. Thanks a lot for joining us, and we'll be back next week with Six in the City, so please tune in then. Peace out.